Hi, this week we're going to talk about business model. So you understand the plan. Remember, 2 weeks ago we talked about market characterization. Last week we talked about how to turn your value proposition into a product or service. This week we're going to talk about business model. The rationale of the business model is very simple. It consists in remembering that having a product and a customer is fundamental, but it's not enough. The life of startups, the history of startups is paved with ventures that came with superior product and that ultimately failed. And the opposite also proved to work sometimes. Other startups came with by far not the best product and ended up dominating the market and kicking out from that very same market startups, other players that had better product. Life isn't fair, some could think. But I would say life isn't fair for the ones who don't really understand the rules of the game. This is exactly what business model is all about. It's about understanding your venture as a system that comprises a number of subsystems and understand how that works and how that can lead you to building an actionable, sustainable, long-term competitive advantage. In order to illustrate that, let me take an example of a startup. Actually, two startups. They were created at the same time on the same market, the US market. They were doing online grocery. One of these startups was Webvan. The other one was Peapod. Both were created in the late 90s, targeting at the same business, trying to execute the same business, online grocery. Webvan raised $1.2 billion to do that. Why that? Because they had the idea that they had to rethink the entire value chain to execute, to successfully build an online grocery. Warehouses, the IT infrastructure, handling the delivery all the way down to the last mile, to the customer. Peapod, the second one, approached the same idea from a totally different perspective. They built mostly a front end, web pages, and they relied on existing infrastructure for handling the logistic flows of their business. Webvan burned $1.2 billion in 24 months and died because the economics of the business case that they started to execute were impossible. Peapod is still alive. That example, these two examples, actually illustrates how out of the same business case, but you can build totally different business models. The business model is about that. The framework I'm going to present is a business model canvas as it was rejuvenated in a book published a few years ago, The Business Model Generation, written by Alexander Osterwalder. It consists in viewing your business as a system that comprises 9 building blocks.